Hey, are you setting deadlines in an effort to stop procrastinating? Well, I'm going to tell you that setting deadlines does not work. So join me right now. We're going to talk about it. All right. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so you might be thinking, as a strategy to stop procrastinating, that you want to start setting yourself some deadlines and try to get into a routine, right? Um, setting a deadline and then making those deadlines. But if you've done it before, you might be finding that it doesn't actually work. In fact, I'm here to tell you that it might actually be making things worse for you. And and I'm going to share with you exactly why in just a minute. So let's first talk about why they don't work. Okay. So one of the reasons, the very first reason why due dates don't work is because then you have this whole set of due dates that you have to manage. So consider, let's say you're working in the next 2 weeks. You're looking at the next 2 weeks of work that you need to do, and you're like, okay, so tomorrow by 2 o'clock, I'm going to have this thing done, and then by Friday, I'll have this done, and then on Monday, I've got to have this and this done, and Tuesday, I've got this, and oh, well, shoot, I've got these appointments. And so, yeah, I'm still going to try to squeeze that in. And then I'm going to um, put something on Thursday. So every day I'm going to have something. Well, now you've just created a whole onslaught of little due dates that you have to manage that actually becomes a bigger chore than actually doing the work. You're constantly having to check your reminders if you set a reminder, or you have to check on um, you know your due dates to make sure you're doing the right thing when you said you were going to do the right thing, and all that. And that's so annoying, and it does not work because one of the reasons is because it one, it becomes a chore. Two, because it doesn't allow you any flexibility so that you can improvise. What if you wake up in the morning on that day that the thing that you want to get done at 2 p.m. is due, and you're not feeling it? You're not inspired. You're not, clear on what it is that you need to do, or you maybe something else came up and that little project that you needed to do by 2 p.m. is a little too big now to fit into that. So it delays you, and you have a due date that you've already missed. And then perhaps you forget to look at the calendar and you forget about that deadline you set on Friday afternoon. And now Friday comes along at the end of the day and you're like, oh, shoot, I forgot to even look at that. And you look and it's something that's too big and makes you spend the weekend working to try to get it done, or you simply blow it off. So, so setting those due dates is actually making things worse for you because it's adding to your management tasks that you have to do. Missed due dates, number two, missed due dates only can make you feel worse about yourself, especially if you miss deadlines on the regular, right? So you are trying to manage all these due dates. You're juggling when you're going to do this, when you're going to do that. What what happens if something comes up and oh my gosh, something came up and now what do I do? I missed this deadline. Before I knew it, I already missed three deadlines and I'm screwed, right? And so missing those deadlines can actually make you feel worse about yourself. They can damage your self esteem, damage your confidence, and make you feel like, you know what, maybe I'm just not cut out for this online entrepreneurial thing after all. Right? And we don't want to have that happen. So setting these due dates is not a very productive way for you to get things done. And then the last thing is number three, due dates are so arbitrary. I mean, that deadline that you set for 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, what are the consequences if you don't get it done? Are there any? Okay, maybe it might be a little lost revenue, but you really hadn't planned for it anyway because you probably didn't quite realize or think that you would get that thing done anyway by 2 p.m. because you just didn't really have that confidence that you would get it done, or something might have come up or whatever. If there are no tangible and possibly painful consequences to missing that deadline, you probably will blow it off. And if you're like me, you're busy and sometimes you're a scatterbrain and You have a hard time keeping track of all the things because maybe even not being a scatterbrain, you're wearing 500 different hats, right? You're wearing 500 different hats as an entrepreneur, and you might have a difficult time remembering that you've set these deadlines and remember even to, get into the habit of looking at this deadline situation that you've created for yourself. So remember that due dates are really arbitrary. You just pull it out of the sky like, well, I want to get that done. Well, that isn't a due date. That's a target date. And a target date is simply that. It's the target. That doesn't mean you're going to reach that goal necessarily, but it's something you're shooting for. But again, having due dates spread out all through your week it makes it very difficult for you to manage all those things. Okay, so that's the things that's the reasons. Sorry, blah blah blah. Those are the reasons why de- due dates don't work. But now here's what to do instead. So the first one is work in sprints. You know I'm a Scrum fan and I'm all about Scrum. Everything I do, I work in sprints and sprints are a Scrum event and they're great. They're great. What happens in a sprint is you actually only have one deadline, the end of the sprint. And all the things you put in there are things that don't need to be done before the end of the sprint. They're all these things that you're doing that you're working towards. So it helps you with managing projects. Now you can have due dates within if it's your day-to-day work, like me going live on a Wednesday. I don't do this preparation. Well, that's not true. I do a lot of preparation way beforehand. Before I do this, but I didn't used to. I used to do it more, the first day of the week and then the second day and the third day, but I've gotten better and I've gotten better at planning and better at using my sprints so that I can plan more ahead and it makes things a lot less stressful for me during the week when I have a lot going on during the week. So working in sprints gives you one due date, the end of the sprint. That's it. And you just simply do whatever you fancy doing. Not just what you fancy doing, but you learn how to prioritize and all those things too. You can learn how to use sprints and how to prioritize and estimate and then hold yourself accountable. In my little e-course, it's called the Take Charge of Your Biz Challenge. It's an e-challenge and it is at thescrumshop.com/challenge. And I'll throw that in the comments for you or in the description for you so you can grab that. It's only $27 and you will learn how to work in sprints and how to manage your work, prioritize your work, and make sure that the most important things get done, but also allows you the flexibility to sort of mix and match based on how you're feeling that day, the quality of time that you have. Maybe you have time today to work on your business, but it's not focus time. You're going to have people around, interruptions. Maybe you got some meetings, so you're only going to have small pockets of time to work throughout the day. But that doesn't mean you can't get anything done. It just is a matter of how you plan your work and how you manage that work so that you can easily grab a task and knock it out when you have those small pockets of time. Okay, so work in sprints. That's first one to do instead. Number two, understand why you're avoiding things. If you're procrastinating a lot, there's probably one of three reasons why you are doing that thing. And you can learn more about that in my workbook. It's called A Different Way to Think About Procrastination. And you can get that at thescrumshop.com/procrastination. And that will give you some ideas so you can start really digging down and figuring out exactly why you're avoiding that thing. Just dreading something is, that's, yeah, you might be just dreading something, but why are you actually dreading it, right? Why is it actually a dread thing? So in this workbook, you'll find things more beyond the Google search of what you can find out about procrastination. You'll learn a little bit more about, um, why you're procrastinating and what you can do about it. And it has a little workbook section in there that can help you to kind of work through that because, you tend to not procrastinate on every single thing that you have to do, right? We tend to go to the easy things, the stuff that's easy, that doesn't require that hard brain work. But sometimes we really procrastinate on the stuff that requires deep work. And so think about that as you're going through this workbook and learn more about how you can prevent yourself from procrastinating. And then the third one is, fix that cause of the problem. Not don't just worry about the symptom. Procrastination is a symptom of a larger problem. And so think about what that symptom is or what the cause of those symptoms are. And then um, how you can fix it by, adapting and leveraging some of the skills and knowledge that you already have to prevent yourself from procrastinating. Again, you can learn more in my workbook, A Different Way to Think About Procrastination. And I will drop the link in the comments for you so you can grab it. But I hope that that helps you to really think through um, how you're procrastinating and that setting due dates for you isn't going to work. It really, truly is not going to work. I can't tell you how many clients I've had that have told me they try to set due dates and it just doesn't work. I myself have done it and I blow those due dates off every time. Working in sprints, using Scrum has really been the best tools that I have used and the best framework I have used to be able to manage the immense workload of entrepreneurship and wearing all the dang hats that you have to wear. So I hope you'll grab it. It's only $27. Grab it because I'm serious. It will change your life. It will change the way you work on your business. And and if you're a coach and you're coaching other clients, it's a great way for you to help your clients be more productive as well. You can teach them how to use Scrum so that they can get their work done without being overwhelmed. And the last thing about Scrum is if you are working with a team or you're starting to work with like a marketing agency, something like that, Scrum is a great way for you to hold them accountable and make sure that they're doing the stuff that they promised to do. And so you can learn more about that in my course, but it's a really great way. And marketing agencies all over the world are starting to use Scrum. I'm seeing it more and more in the coaching world as well. You'll hear coaches say they're working in sprints. That really is basically a little segment of how the Scrum framework works. And I share with you all of that so you have a full understanding of the Scrum framework. And then you get to learn in depth the pieces that are really going to matter to you because nobody has time to be a full time project manager, anything like that. But the Scrum framework and the pieces that I teach you of Scrum are enough to change your entire world and make things a lot easier for you to manage and to help you stop procrastinating, stop working late nights, stop having to work through the weekend, and actually step away from your desk at night with like things done, right? You actually are going to get things done. You'll feel accomplished and your home life will be better because you'll be less distracted when you're in home time with your family. You'll be less distracted by your business and more focused on them to be fully present for them. And everybody will be a lot happier. Okay, so I hope that that helps, and I hope you grab the course and grab my workbook too because it's game changer too. You'll really like that procrastination workbook. It's kind of fun and you'll be able to work through some of the issues that you might be having that are causing you to procrastinate. Okay. All right, you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your week and I will see you in the comments.